This is the game we have to focus on, and we have been brought in. On the left side of your screen this time, we're going to be seeing Epsilon. Right side is going to be Cog, so it has been switched. So first pick, first ban is going to be given to Repicaz, who has just a few seconds to make it. And, I mean, who are you going to pick?
It depends, and I think that it's hard to predict, especially with a team like COG EU, especially in the EU scene. I mean, it seems to be that they they ban out the Loki. They had enough
Loki.
of that. Smart play. I mean, obviously Loki very strong solo laner in the solo lane, like the short lane, side lane. But this time around with the mid bans right into a Zeus pick, they kind of baited that out a bit. Looks like they might be doing the same thing. Audi's going to be banned out here. They're going to have a Loki banned out. Now back over to Epsilon to see what they want to ban. They could go for a jungler. It seemed like Naja was very powerful. They're going to ban Sobek here, which is going to allow them to possibly ban a Thor Naja, or maybe even a solo laner like a Hell or a Chang'e, to try and force them into some squishier picks. But we'll see what they decide to go for here. COG has their ban. They have 15 seconds to throw it out on the table. It's going to be Hell yet again. So almost the same exact bans we saw last time, except this time instead of their second pick after, or second ban after Sobek, it's going to be Loki.
So first pick Athena, auto lock there. We've been seeing this trend of Athena gets picked, ban Sobek, or ban Athena, pick Sobek. Almost every single game, which means we're going to see Bacchus more than likely picked up on the right side. A very surprising lack of Ymir. Or Emir over the past, I'd say, month and a half, 2 months or so. But it looks like Sprayon's going to reprise his role as Kronos here, and they're going to be going for the Hercules lane once again. Whether they put him in duo or solo is yet to be found out, but I mean, either way, it's going to be pretty deadly.
Yeah, I think the main reason why we don't really see Ymir anymore is his early levels. He's very squishy. In fact, he's probably one of the squishiest tanks with the lowest mobility overall in the early stages of the laning phase, which a lot of people do punish. In fact, we saw about 2 weeks straight of people picking Ymir and losing every single game just because in those first 3 or 4 levels or so where Ymir only has a wall and a stun, if he misses the wall or misses the stun, he has no natural tankiness in the early levels and no mobility and just gets picked off. And a lot of times, the strategy is always to go for the carry, the physical range, physical carry, to go after that as far as your target. But if you see an Ymir, oftentimes you just go for the Ymir because there's nothing Ymir can do about it in the early stages, and it's hard to win a laning phase that way. We see Naj actually coming out here, Ra being thrown on the table, so possibly Ra solo yet again. Seems like they really enjoy that kind of just stable. Zhang Kui's gonna make it through. Please lock this in.
Oh,
do
wait,
it.
that's right.
Do it. Lock it in.
Don't even think about it, Cubo. Just
do it.
Get him in there.
Do it. We have not seen Zhang Kui at all this tournament. In fact, this is the first game he has been banned.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just have not seen him so much that we weren't even recognizing the fact that he wasn't banned. He wasn't even in my head. I mean, how could they not pick him up? He's so powerful right now. And then, of course, there's the Bacchus pickup as predicted. They're going to leave their final pickup as a counter pick. Zhang Kui will be locked in. And they're feeling it over there on Epsilon.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize if you're a competitive player, a lot of times you won't even touch the new god if they're not available. If you're running scrims or certain team comps, some teams just don't even touch the new character because they don't have time to, or they're running other strats, or they're working on other things. Sometimes it just never crosses their mind. And there's certain characters where they're so strong that you don't want to deal with them. Zhang Kui being one of those. I mean, Zhang Kui, a very, very powerful character with a lot going for him. We saw him yesterday actually in the Tier Monster Code Review tournament, where a lot of damage potential, a lot of healing, a lot of team fight presence. But if played improperly, can get caught out without any natural escapes. But those are the kind of situations where you'd expect to see people like probably going to be picked up by Risterian or maybe Sprayorn, either in the mid lane or the solo lane. He's very adept at either.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. I mean, I think he's one of the most all-around strong players in the world, and he was such a good pickup, and he's such a good fit for this team. But here comes Thor again, last pick. I don't see how this is happening, considering he was banned out last week repeatedly. But I mean, this is the balance that, a lot of people talk about how Smite is unbalanced, but when you see a character who's banned 4 or 5 games in a tournament and then doesn't get picked until 10th the next week with no changes, I mean, that shows true balance. I mean, that's really impressive to me. Coming from other communities, from other games, seeing games that are completely unbalanced. But I think the key here, I'm very, very excited to see Zhang Kui, especially in the hands of Risterian. Risterian, one of my favorite players to watch because he's so keen on learning new strategies and learning new ways to abuse, anything that he can to try to get himself ahead. Similarly to Sile, but we're going to get to see Zhang Kui, Jai.
I'm loving it. Zhang Kui is fastly becoming one of my new favorite mages, just because of the way he plays, the way he is, the capabilities he have, and like you mentioned, how versatile he can be. But as you can see at the top of the screen, we're waiting for a spectator delay, so everything is all set to go, and there's no release of strategies or ideas on stream, so then there's no cheating at all. So a 3-minute delay will be up on the top of the scoreboard. We're going to wait for that and cut to a brief 3-minute timer. So if you're just joining us today, this is the EU Tournament Conquest number 20. We're heading into Game 2 between Cognitive Gaming EU and, of course, Epsilon Esports, previously Vengeance Esports, for Game 2. Vengeance is down 1 game, so they have to win this match if they want to extend the series. But, of course, if COG wins this, they'll take it all 2-0. And, of course, COG does get Zhang Kui, so there's a lot of implications here, and definitely going to be a great match to watch. So stick around. We're going to cut to a 3-minute timer, and we'll see you on the other side when the game is ready to go.
Stick around, guys. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Game 2 of the Grand Finals. Epsilon Esports is down 1 game up against Cognitive Gaming EU. They have to win this if they want a chance at taking anything in this tournament and not landing in 2nd place. But COG is poised to take this entire tournament if they win this match here. We're going to see Epsilon actually invade the entire enemy jungle, which has been spotted out by Athena. A 6th sense there, just kind of pinging it without any wards. Like, they did have a ward placed down over there. I fixed myself there. I realized that as didn't take it out. We do see Zhang Kui this game, who's going to be picking up Purification Beads, Meditation, Magical Pot. A very strange pickup to start with.
All right, looks like we have a little bit of invade here. It's caught out. I don't know if she's going to be able to finish this up. It does look like the speed has been taken, and they're going to be giving it to Trix Tank. They're going to be caught in between, but they are level 2 versus level 1. Why are they not turning onto Lennox here? They could have just turned around and done some damage, but instead it looks like they're just going to try to get themselves some experience here. I'm still very surprised they didn't turn on that. That should have been a free kill.
Yeah, I think Athena actually went for the dash first, which they probably could have waited for a bit, but definitely with the positioning they had, I guess they didn't want to get too aggressive. They didn't really know who was around. I don't know, with Game Hunter, Trix Tank, Bacchus hurt. He's a very strong lane. I don't really know why they decided to go for that. There's a driving strike, belly flop, jumping right on top of the Athena. Creeper Curse comes out, getting lower and lower, but so is Trix Tank. They want to go for this. A few more hits from the Hercules. One more will do it. Is he going to get a range or not? He's not going to be able to do it. A body block from the Apollo will be enough to save him. We see Naj on the right side lane taking away this blue buff with the help of the Ra. There's the Hand of the Gods. The Ra will finish off. And in fact, Ra got both of the blue buffs on the right side of the map.
Yes, he did. I mean, that's going to be pretty strong. Going to put him pretty far ahead in terms of experience. And right now, it looks like the experience difference slightly and gold difference slightly in favor of Epsilon. So, I mean, pretty good job on the start there. I'm still very surprised. I mean, I'm kind of hurt that Game Hunter just did not decide to turn and fight Athena. Now, I also thought she had the dash. It sounded like she dashed to me, but at level 1 we saw her drop the shield ball, so not quite sure what she's up to. But either way, it looks like they're trying to make a comeback here. Bacchus rotating over towards the mid to make sure the goal camp has been taken, so each team is going to get one side of the goal camps. Zhang Kui continuously pushing into the tower, getting those stacks up. I don't know that we can see how many stacks he has. I know there's a small visual indicator on the back of his bag, but I don't know at what rank each, the bag increases.
I don't know. I know there's a timer for the 1 to see how long it has left to tick. I don't know if there's actually an indicator that can see. I haven't actually looked at it to see. It looks like
the bag starts to glow. So. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I think he's probably getting close to, if not full, somewhere between the 15 and 18 range, possibly even 20, but he's going to be very, very tanky. I mean, that at least is going to be giving him somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 to 60 of both protections, which is going to make a very uphill battle for Schultz here as he attempts to get any damage done to this character that can heal himself at all.
Rayleigh Naja jumped in on top of the Chronos, missing the Armillion Sash, and not able to get a gank there, ending up heading home and buying up. It looks like Tier 1 Heartseeker before boots there, a very early aggressive pickup there. Taunt comes out on the Hercules, who missed the driving strike, driving about half HP, but did have the mitigate wounds active, so we're going to heal a lot of that back up. We saw initiation with an Earthbreaker there on the left lane, missing on the Apollo yet again. But at this point, I mean, you're sitting Cognitive Gaming EU versus Epsilon Esports. It looks like they're up a small amount of experience, about 300 experience there. The gold is dead even right now. No first blood has gone down either way, and like you mentioned, DM, it could have been Athena there in the jungle if they decided to go for it, but they're playing very safe right now. This time around, we're only gonna see 3 Hand of the Gods coming out from Cog this time instead of 4. Zhang Kui getting very frisky here in the middle lane with a possible rotation from the Athena and the Naja. They did here. There's Armulus Stash. There's a Spirit Ball. He's gonna pop his ultimate pretty soon here. There's the ultimate. There's the healing and the control that he has. Isis pops her ultimate on the ground. He's gonna heal up just a bit, but it's gonna be enough. Berserker Barrage comes down, finishing off the Athena, going after the backswing. The hammer's not gonna hit on the Isis. She's still alive. The HP might be enough. Lands the one. Is it gonna enough to finish off? Looks like Repikos gets picked off there in the middle. It's taking lower and lower. Is Zinder gonna live? It looks like he will. And Game Hunter gets a kill on Schultz in the meantime as he goes from the back, so getting Earthbreaker there on the Isis under tower range. So it's all said and done. A 1-for-2 exchange there in favor of Cognitive Gaming EU, but Zhang Kui loses his life in the process.
A slight experience lead now for Epsilon. I mean, that's good. I'm sorry, for Cog EU, despite the fact that they were 1 level ahead. Right now we see Lennox and Cobra Kai both sitting at level 5, while we do have Cuvo Fred sitting at level 6 with Game Hunter. Spurn actually just ticking on to 7 there, but Repikos getting to level 8, so it's very, very close overall. The golden experience are 300 in either direction for both teams. I mean, so far we've had a kind of a nail-biter of a game here. It's been very, very close. The rotations to the mid-camps have been beautiful, and I really kind of love this new Hand of the God start that people are starting to take up. It's opting to really give us a much more aggressive game as players aren't afraid to push forward. We're seeing a lot more PvP action, and I gotta say, I'm really enjoying it.
Well, yeah, it's a big thing. As you clear the wave faster, you're free to roam around and do what you want and come back to lane late. Even then, you can use the Hand of the Gods to clear the wave out. We see Hercules actually going to left lane, forcing this forward. Gets pulled back by the taunt a bit. The mitigate wounds will heal a slight amount of that healed up. Did pop it a little bit late after the initiation towards the tower, but I'm going to back off. Again, Game Hunter just soloing the left side as Hercules. Really, not really much pressure that the Apollo and the Athena can put down on him with how tanky he is now, especially since the fact that he picked up, she doesn't have picked up any items just yet. Still sitting on, let's see how much does he have in hand. Hercules has 1,800 gold in hand. I don't think he's gone home yet.
Well, I mean, he just spent some of it. He, it looks like he was able to finally spend some of that gold, and you can see level 2 boots. Did he not buy level 3?
He didn't.
No. What did he buy? Looks like a teleport.
Yeah, he's sitting about 400 gold right now, so he didn't have just enough to finish off the boots all the way. Needed about 200-300 more gold for that. So decided to pick up tier 2, a teleport, head back into the lane here. Didn't even pick up an active at all, so a little bit, actually didn't even pick up a consumable. He's just saving his gold so he can come back and get it. He doesn't really need much right now. With mitigate wounds properly utilized, he can just kind of hang out in the left side lane, get as much health back as he needs to, as we see Apollo and Athena trying to jump in here. Not really much they can do here, but in the meantime, Ice is going to jump down the middle lane by the Zhang Kui, taking a lot of harassment, and then Wade just gets cleared so fast. Action in the right side lane. Naja jumps on the Thor, who tried to gank on the Ra, teleports away just in time. There's a stun being shut out by the Chronos, avoided by the Ra. Not going to be too much utilized there, but in the meantime, Athena gets picked off in left lane.
Alright, so yeah, Lennox will go down there, so another kill for Cog. He uses the robbing there, that's searing pain, but nowhere even close. And Spyron actually dodges the Windfire Wheels dash as well, and then here comes Hercules jumping in there. He's going to chase Repikos out and move himself a little bit forward, and here comes Nasha checking out Zhang Kui. Not two characters you want to fight right now. Dina's going to jump in. A good tectonic rift there. He gets out the, it looks like he got the tag out. Gets doing a lot of damage. Zinder's going to be picked up and pushed out. But here comes the Zhang Kui ultimate, just raining down, healing his team, doing a ton of damage. Schultz actually getting himself a kill somehow in that mess. But in the meantime, it looks like a 1-for-1 exchange. And Risterian's still sitting pretty, sitting kind of brazen as well. You see him move forward. He might throw it out once again, but doesn't look like he's going to go for it. He wants to try to get some of his stacks back on his passive, but to do that he's going to need to exercise multiple minions at once to be able to make it even close to relevant. So both mid camps are going to drop here in favor of Epsilon, and the gold is going to start to shrink a little bit as we see about a 500 gold difference in favor of Cog, and the experience difference actually now in favor of Epsilon.
Yeah, a little bit of swing there. Again, not that much of a lead. This is exactly what we expected to Epsilon in the first game, but they just got completely shut out. So definitely playing a much stronger game this time around. Looks like Ra's going to be winning the right side lane up against Sprayer, and Sprayer having a tough time keeping up with the Ra pressure that's being put down upon him. We see Raw sitting at 4,600 gold versus the Kronos is at 4,000. So a 600 gold lead there for the Raw. Of course, a 1 level. I think it's like a one and a half levels right now. So Raw definitely having a very, very convincing victory here in the right side lane. Baka's looking like he wants to go into left lane. Naj also looking like he wants to go into the mid lane. Zhonghui going to back off there and avoid that armor sash. Athena getting jumped on, driving strike. Bacchus is here. Thor's going to go up in the air, look for the dunk to come down. Athena trying to get away. There's the dunk, belly flop, burst damage, and Athena is dead. A free gank there in the left side lane. That's going to put Cog at 5-2 here at the almost 9-minute mark as Apollo shows back up into the left lane. And at this point, with the fact that Epsilon is kind of holding on slightly and Cog's winning with 2 Heartseekers there on Epsilon and no stacking items on Cog, it's looking better for Cog.
I mean, it definitely is, and right now they're forcing out another ultimate. Cobra Kai is gonna have to retreat back to the base to heal up. More free experience, or at least more chance for them to have to force their teammates into wasting 150 gold. And then again, mid lane, it looks like they're gonna get a kill. Now they're gonna try to kill Risterian. I mean, he does so much damage. He's so tanky, and he heals so much that he was able to get out freely. And of course, great rotation over by Cuvo. He's gonna move over. A good tectonic rift's gonna keep them out of position. Belly flop's gonna jump in, not land on everybody, or I'm sorry, anybody, but Sprayon's going to rotate over as well, and then bang, time stop. Going to pick him up smartly. Lennox going to rotate over into the Nasha heal from that passive to ensure that she can, at least stay in the lane, but right now, even though he's level 9, no fear coming out from Trixtank as he just walks through the jungle. They're actually going to start the Gold Fury here. Do they have a level 2 hand on anybody? No, all level 1 hands across the board, so it is susceptible to being stolen right now. But at the same time, are 2 people going to want to jump into 4, especially with the amount of damage that they have? Oh, actually, Tectonic Rift's going to stop the Excavate damage there, but it actually bounces it back towards the Gold Fury to do some more, so they do manage. Oh, I'm sorry. That said blue team on mine. Did they steal that?
They did. They stole that away.
Oh my god. And they're going to get a kill. Zindern coming in with the artillery stash into the ring. How did they get that?
Well, we can find out.
Let's find out. Let's slow-mo. I want to see exactly what happened here because there was no part of my mind that thought that was going to go in favor
well,
of
with,
Epsilon.
480 true damage coming out from the Hand of the Gods. They have 3 there on Cog, 2 on Epsilon. It just came down to ability usage. There's the Excavate coming out. The Isis threw a spear ball on the backside, getting a free shot on the Gold Fury. Let's get one more good shot. I didn't even see that.
Can we follow her? Because I want to see this happen. Schultz, oh my god. I didn't even see it happen. I was wondering. So he goes through the jungle. He sees it. Random spirit ball is going to come out here. And look at it. It's nowhere near amount of dead, but then a few hits. Bang! 1,500 gold in favor, and he gets some stuns off in the meantime. Doesn't even recognize that there's a team fight potential here. Goes the wrong way. They actually could have gotten more than 1 kill, but Trixtank getting over. Zealous there. Silence. Going to get some damage from the first hit of the shield wall. Takes 2 hits of the Wind Gust. Artillery Sash. The ring's going to bounce. Be just enough, and Zernder's going to grab himself a kill. That was outrageous.
Wow. Incredible placement there. Got the last hit with a Spirit Ball from behind. I don't think Cog really expected that, nor did they even see Isis coming from the flank of it. It seems so casual the way that she went about it, too. She kind of walked over, threw a Spirit Ball, free Gold Fury, and walked away. Wasn't even part of the gank that followed up there. So definitely a great pickup for Epsilon. That's going to shoot them up about 1,500 gold lead here at the 10, almost 11-minute mark. On the right side of that, we're also going to see 250 experience lead for Epsilon. So a big swing, but we did see this, previously before with Cog, where they were up against Imaginary Team, where they fell behind. Initiation comes out in the jungle. There's another kill on the Ra, completely shut out by the Zhonghui Opalent, as well as the CC to follow. Look at Hercules, so very low. Apollo wants it. Can he get in range of time? He's coming up. He's healing up with mitigate wounds. It's going to come up. Apollo's going to up in the air. The sun comes out from the Kronos, and he realizes how much of a tough situation he's in right now. So right there, he's going to go right towards the tower and back off. Apollo does not want to get caught out. So right now, 8-3 at the 11.5-minute mark. Cog is clearing that lead by a bit. They just dropped out 500 gold difference overall, and actually are in an experience lead right now.
This is what I said about last game. Just cut your losses. Even if you win, I mean, it's gonna force so much time and so much effort out of you. And if you wind up losing after putting in all that work and so much of your blood and sweat, it's gonna kill your morale. Just cut your losses, go into game 2, and look for a way to jump back into the series. And so far, that's exactly what they're doing. That steal from Schultz was so clutch, and it's not only put them back in the game, but it's actually put them ahead, despite the fact that Kagyu has a pretty decent experience lead right now. The gold difference is finally in favor of Epsilon, and they're gonna try to spiral with it. I mean, they're doing a good job of it so far. Level 14 on 2 of their characters, which is actually tying Sprayon, but ahead of everybody else.
That blue buff gets stolen. Looks like it did not. Ra throwing at the Searing Pain, trying to steal that away from the jungle clear from Bacchus and Thor. Kronos kind of hanging out here. Kronos again going for his Polynomicon pick they had last time. Thor going up there. Bacchus is here. Look for the dunk from the Thor. Gonna go right for the Naja. Most likely belly flop misses as the ultimate comes out for Naja, avoiding the dunk from both people. The ultimate comes out from Athena, not going to be enough to save the Rock. Gets picked off there by the burst damage. Naja kind of hang out, throws out the ring, not going to land there. Ice is going against Zhang in the middle lane. There goes the ultimate from, actually no ultimate just yet, just some damage output from the Zhang, just going to poke him down just a bit. A little bit of damage coming out. Ice is dropped about half HP, but overall, Ra falls for literally no exchange.
Look at the damage that he was able to do on Zhang without even using his ultimate. And now, I don't know, maybe I'll just heal myself back up to full with all these minion health things, souls. So rushing forward, I mean, the Wind Gust goes off here. I'm surprised he's actually not just going to try to kill her. I mean, at this point, if he used the expose evil into the ultimate there and then probably got a decent stun into the exorcism, he'd probably have enough to kill her, but at the same time it's very risky and there's no real use of wasting the stacks, especially when he's as tanky as he is. But right now, looking at the levels, Lennox trying to bring up the pack here at level 9, 3 levels below anyone else on his team, as opposed to Trix Tank, who is now level 11. Doing a great job, and it should be noted that he does have Watcher's Gift and Midas Boots, so his gold is continuously spooling 5,300 right now, actually slightly behind Lennox, but in the same regard is still very much in the game.
We see Athena and Isis going for this camp in the right side of the middle lane. Naja's going to come from the backside here and try to push this lane up. But Bacchus is here going to go for the belly flop. Not going to land it. Belch the Gods comes out. There's the one from Zhang. Ultimate comes out. Throwing out some demons. Isis ultimate comes out. Is going to be enough. No, the heal is nowhere near what she needed at that point. Berserk Rush comes out for Cupid Fred. Finish off Zinder in the jungle. The passive from Naja will keep Ra healed up. 4 players still here for Cog. Going to try and force down the Ra, or at least push him back towards his tower. The right side tower is exposed and under half HP right now, so they could go for this. It looks like they're about to.
They might want to go for the dive here too. They do go for it, easily picked up. Only a few tower shots taken, and now they have 3 archers plus a full wave coming. This could be tower. I don't know if anyone's going to have a chance to rotate. I see Athena and Apollo both in the well right now. Apollo actually looking maybe he will rotate. No, the tower is done. There's nothing to do. They could actually continuously push here, and I think they will. Still, we have a few seconds till Ra comes up. Zindern has rotated, but he respawns and tries to get into this tower by himself. He's going to get blown up. So now pushing forward, 2 archers. No archers remain. The tower's getting pushed. This is a tier 2 Zindern rotating over. We're going to see a ring toss here. I don't know if it's going to equate to much. Only a little bit of damage. No hits on the archers. 2,500 gold swing on top of the kill. Huge, huge pickup there for Cog, and their lead is going to skyrocket off of that.
Sitting at 4,000 gold up right now, 8,000 experience, double the amount in experience they have in gold lead. Kronos rotates over the middle lane. The mid tower is under half HP again, so they're going to get a really great rotation in the middle lane, and it seemed like Epsilon was not quick enough to respond, so Cog gets a double tower kill in the right side lane, tier 1 and tier 2, and that means that they can focus all of their pressure on the mid and left side of the map, which of course that's where the Gold Fury is. So finishing out those 2 towers in the right lane means that lane will always be pushing. All they have to do is go over and clear 1 wave, and it'll push up towards their Phoenix area. We see Armorless Sash coming out from Naja and immediately turning around and running away from the Zhang. Does not want to get caught out there. So Cog is sitting at 12-3 right now, up 16 minutes into the game. Initiation comes out. Hercules kind of forced something out there. There's a stun on top of the Ra. Searing Pain comes out. Zhang does a bunch of damage with his combination of 1 and 2. There's initiation in the middle lane. Looks like a belly flop comes with the box. Ice ultimate's on the ground. Zhang posts all that. Thor jumps down into the fray. Not able to do a whole lot there. Naja forced that ultimate away. They're getting lower and lower on Cog. Apollo goes up into the air. He wants to dunk on someone. Looks like Isaac gets picked off by Thor there in the middle lane. The dunk comes out in the middle tower. Apollo does a couple donuts, lands down and backs off. So when it's all said and done, we're going to see a 1-for-1 exchange. And now Cog is just has more and more map control. Even though it was an even exchange, they're just going to go up for the buffs and clear out this side camp middle lane and just kind of count their gold right now.
You know, while the gold actually was probably in the favor given the fact that he was 2-0 going into that and Schultz was 1-3, it should also be considered that Game Hunter's only level 14 and will respawn much, much faster than Schultz, especially considering he died much earlier. Schultz actually snuck in a spawn for 20 more seconds. Game Hunter's up just about now. So, I mean, it's definitely in my favor, in my opinion, in favor of Cog overall. dashing in there, confounding into the shield wall. The rewind's going to be good. Sprayon's going to be caught out of position there, forced to rewind very far down, but expose Evil out onto two characters. It looks like the exorcism actually goes off. He does not go for the stun. He's going to jump forward there, looking for the Earthbreaker. Doesn't get it. A washed out fight, but a great opportunity for Cog there, as they were able to save Sprayon in what should have been certain death.
Athena backing under tower, going to force to be head home here. The mid tower and left tower for Epsilon are exposed and low HP, so any kind of gank opportunity for Cognitive, a successful kill would mean either a Gold Fury or a tower or two at this point in the game. 17.5 minutes into this game, Cog is in complete control. They're up about 4,000 gold, 8,400 experience. Left lane, we see Naja rotating over. There's not a whole lot he can do, and we've actually seen, I think, the last 4 or 5 Armillion Sashes miss from Naja. A lot of missed opportunities for those engagements. Again, forced to use his ultimate defensively as Kronos. Here comes the Excavate. It's going to come in time. It will smash Naja into the dirt. Kronos hanging out here. Here's a rotation. Spirit Ball goes out. Not going to land there. Driving Strike goes on the Isis. She has an ultimate available if she wants to use it. There's the stun from the Kronos. Burst damage. A double raw ultimate going to kill Hercules as well as the Kronos. Here comes the rotation from Cognitive, though. They're going to go right after Schultz, burning him down there in the middle of the lane. Apollo forced to disengage. That was an incredible raw ultimate, but they may not be done here. They're going to keep pressuring this tower. Bacchus takes a quick swig. Athena doing the best she can to pull him off the tower. Bellyflop comes out. Belch of the Gods. Is it going to be enough? He gets a free kill on Raw, who is doing a lazy back in the middle of the lane. Great spot by Trixtank. Now they're going after Athena again. Impossible another kill if she has a dash. There's the creeping curse. They don't have enough to get in range. Jean-Quay cannot get there in time. Thor had an ultimate, but of course look at Cubo Fred's HP right now. So when it's all said and done, we're going to see a 2-for-3 exchange, as well as the tower going down. A lazy back from Ra, as well as some he had a perfect ultimate, but then wasted it with that back there, and a free kill for Cog and a tower to boot.
So it looks like the steal that Schultz was able to get on the Gold Fury is not equating to an overall lead right now, as despite the fact that it did put them slightly ahead, Kagi-U's farm and team fights have been flawless, going up about 5,000 gold difference, pushing up towards 10k in experience. Overall, Cog controls the game now 16-6. They have complete control over almost every part of this map, but still not much vision, not as much as we're used to at least, but they do have a sentry ward over near the Gold Fury, and they're going to start grouping up here. Nasha over on the right side picking up the gold camp. In the middle, Isis pushing out as well, but the rest of the team, aside from Thor, looks like they're pushing over towards the left side to get ready for this Gold Fury, because I think this is going to be our next point of interest.
It certainly will if they decide to rotate. They may be scattering at this point. Bacchus kind of pressing the envelope here, putting a ward down right in front of the Athena. Just, I got nothing left. I'm a Bacchus. I'm not going to kill anybody, so he just walks right by that. Naja going to high-five Apollo as they cross over in the jungle. Naja going left lane. Doesn't know if Bacchus is here. There's the Belch of the Gods. Going to land a stun. Might be enough for Hercules to come on over. Hercules kind of hanging out. Kronos rotates. Going to find the Apollo in the jungle. There goes the Feast basic attacks. Does he have a stun available? The Mesmerize is going to do so much CC as Kronos is forced to stand still for quite some time. We see 3 players in the left lane for both teams. Middle lane, 2 players grouping up. Of course, that means, as previously mentioned, those 2 towers on the right side lane being down means they have free reign of the rotations. We see Ra taking a lot of harassment here, dropping just under half HP from the harassment of Jean-Quay and the Thor. Kronos rotating over. All 5 players for Cog grouping up. It looks like they might be going for a Gold Theory. They have the minimap vision. They have the control. But of course, 5 players still for Epsilon around, lurking in the area. We might have a possible engagement here. Apollo grouping up the backside, looking for a flank, or possibly have a So Beautiful throw out some harassment. The Gold Fury will be started. Athena kind of grouping up here. Belch the Gods and go after the Naja. Gets prevented by the taunt. Here comes initiation. Jean-Quay going for the backside. There is one exposed Evil. Not going to land. Gold Fury is going to get leashed, and we may have a wash here, a possible engagement.
All right, I mean, it looks like they're going to wash this out. Actually, a belly flop jumps in, doesn't land onto anyone. Belch of the Gods is going to be good here. Repicos picked up. Repicos actually almost knocked back. A great confound stuns people into the shield wall. Ra, Searing Pain once again comes out, landing on a few people, but not doing enough damage. Bouncing it off the wall. Pull shot, 8 in the pocket, going to slam on the Cobra Kai as he escapes out. But a great creeping curse from Lennox is going to prevent them from engaging. Somehow, that engagement, despite being almost perfect by Cog, was a 1-for-1 exchange. However, it looks like they traded out a very high damage character in Repicos for their support on Trixtank, also lowest level in the team, so the respawn timers are definitely going to be in favor of Cog. He'll be respawning a little over half a minute. We have 40 seconds till Repicos up, and now it looks like Epsilon's going to be going for this. Do they have an opportunity here? It doesn't look like they have the hand of the gods. Game Hunter does have a 10% kill here, so they're going to have to try to keep him out. Zinder gets picked up. The Gold Fury's on its last legs. As it gets lower to 10%, we're going to see the hand of gods come out a little bit too early, and it looks like, a misplay there from Game Hunter, as Schultz once again is able to pick up 1,500 gold swing for his team, but he's going to get picked up in the process. Very, very low. Perhaps a So Beautiful through the wall could finish up Risterian there, or at least do enough damage to back him, but it would put him in an awful situation, so Cobra Kai is going to be able to back up there. Unfortunate 4-for-1 swing there. They did grab the Gold Fury, but overall still very, very much in favor of COG.
We see a big leap there in the graphs for the experience difference. We see it hop up at about 4,300 gold and then drop down a slight amount after that kill there. So COG, I mean, they're holding on to everything right now. Schultz getting 2 Gold Fury steals in one game. Very, very important for that to be happening. So we're going to see that kind of rotate over. Apollo's going to pick up the movement speed buff in the jungle and head over to left lane. At this point, we're going to see over a 12,000 experience lead for Cognitive Gaming EU. A huge swing, and again, the levels are so very important in these early stages of the game. We see a Fire Giant buff being started by COG Gaming. Here's a rotation from Athena. Goes in. Does he have the steal from it? It looks like they don't. The Fire Giant will go to Cognitive Gaming. There's an issue. The Excavate's going to bounce off the wall, finishing off the Raw. Immediately Thor's up in the air. Might be able to finish off the Athena. Misses the ultimate, however. Apollo's going to duck down, trying to force back the Chronos. Chronos can rewind this if he needs to. He's the only one left with his ultimate on COG EU. There goes Initiation on top of the Naja. Force the ultimate away defensively. Not going to be enough as the Zhonghui Thor combination damage. Way too much for him to deal with. Now jumping on Athena inside of the tower range. Boggs is going to tank this up. Allow his team to go in on this. There goes the Belch of the Gods, going to stun up the Isis. Hercules is in range. There's the hand of the Gods. The Fist God stun. Driving strike right after. Athena taunts it up. The tower goes down. Isis' ultimate going down on the ground. Not going to be able to save her as she gets picked off and blocked by the Thor wall. Belly flop. They're not done yet. Tier 2 tower dive coming out from COG Gaming. They have the Fire Giant buff. At this point, Epsilon is on tilt.
I mean, there's really not much they can do to try to stand against 5 members here with Fire Giant, especially characters like Hercules and Chronos, who innately are so tanky and can heal themselves such great amounts. And then, of course, Zhonghui ensuring the rest of the team gets healed. I mean, we have Baka sitting there with the Intoxicate, and there's so much potential. And that's not even mentioning Thor, who is long considered one of the best characters in the game. Now rushing forward, Athena trying to do something. A Confound's going to come out, but it's not going to do much. Tectonic Rip hitting 2 people. There's a 2-minute front and back. A lot of damage coming through. He actually driving strikes him out of the time stop there, which will eventually save him, but ultimately it's worth it. Now, while the Searing Pay did land on a few people there, the damage is ineffective overall. They're going to be rotating back towards the middle lane here, except for Trix Tank, who kind of is just doing his own thing. This might be an opportunity for them to push another Phoenix down. You see Sprayon pushing up, but I think they're going to take their lead here and just run with it for a little while, not get overly greedy, clear out the jungle a little bit, and then go and spend some of that hard-earned gold, which is going to make their lead even bigger.
Zhonghui can clear this camp here in the middle lane. We see Chronos going for the blue buff. I like this decision from COG. They're going to back off after getting that Phoenix and clear out the jungle. Make sure they have nothing to come back from. Great wall from the Thor here on the right side lane. Repicos Excavate's going to hit him right in the head. Another free kill there on the Ra. Ra is currently sitting at 2 and 7. 7 deaths for himself. 1 and 7 for the Isis. 1 and 6 for the Naja. I mean, COG is so powerful right now. They're sitting at 7,400 gold up. 18,000 experience up, 24-7. The gold doesn't really seem as much as you would expect, but the experience is so insurmountable right now. You see level 20 on 3 characters there on COG EU. Hercules about to hit level 20 himself. Boggs level 16, but you see 19, 18, 17, 15, and Athena at level 12, 8 levels behind the players on Cognitive. I mean, they're just so far behind in experience. They just don't have the levels and the abilities they need. Another free tower soloed by Chronos here in the left side lane. Might get caught out, but of course he does have his rewind available. Still has the Fire Giant buff. That buff will last another minute or so, about a minute and 5 seconds left on that buff. They want to use it. They can most certainly use it in this next team fight if it starts soon. But of course, a minute after that, they will have the Fire Giant respawn. And I don't think that Epsilon can even contest this. They have tier 3 Hand of the Gods on Athena, but if she gets CC'd, especially with how much CC they have on COG, how can they really defend it?
I mean, they really can. I mean, that's the problem. A Trix Tank jumping in there. Belch of the Gods is going to almost go off. The silence is going to stop that. Raining down. Thor comes in. Schultz using Circle of Protection. It's not going to be enough. They're going to get the first kill of that engagement there. Schultz immediately gets dropped, and poor Zinder on the side throwing toys at people, trying to do some damage, but completely ineffective. 2 Phoenixes down now. All towers down. They could easily rush in here, but instead they're going to play the safe route, go towards the left side as Chronos actually moves up to try to maybe maybe clear some of that wave. I think he threw the time stop out. He's going to be rotating back over towards mid lane. Trix Tank fearlessly runs in. Excavate's going to go off, hitting 3 people, 1 on the way back. The Nasha heal's actually doing a great job of keeping Replicas alive. You see him running back and forth to it. You see, it looks like Spray on there used the rewind to try to get out, and he does a good time. Rift's going to do some damage there, but not enough to finish it up. Still, they have all 5 members relevant and ready to go here. The only person even low health, and I mean, if 50% is low to you, Trix Tank, super tanky Bacchus here, no problem running forward again, getting his Belch of the God stuff, but they're using so many abilities to try to stuff him out. Searing Pain goes off, hits 1 person, but it's not going to be enough damage. Doomorb has almost no stacks on at this point. All Phoenixes have been completely removed, and now they are retreating. I don't understand.
Well, they have 2 players down. Ice is about to respawn at this point. You know, this is game 2. If they win this, they win it all. They're just going to play it safe. I mean, 3 Phoenixes down. The Firemans have yet to show up for the mid and left lane. The right lane is still streaming Firemans, so they just killed off that. The first wave of Firemans look like they're going to show up here in the middle lane. And, of course, left lane, the first wave is kind of making its way halfway across the map. They're just going to let, Epsilon fester at this point. They're 26-7, but you're right. I mean, at this point, with no Phoenixes, no towers, they're 0-0 right now for that count. They're 11,000 gold up right now for COG, 21,000 experience up. They have, look at the advantage they have in itemization. Rod finished now for Kronos, as well as the Polynomicon Demonic Grip. Lots of damage potential there. Thor finishes the Magi Blessing after the very standard Jotun's Wrath Void Blade combination. They're going to start the Fire Giant, which is just respawn. They're going to try and contest this. Athena leading the charge here. It's all going to come down to Athena. They won't be able to steal it without a tier 3 Hand of the God activation. So here comes the initiation. Hercules going to zone this out a bit. There's the silence from the Ice. Throws out a Spirit Ball. Isis throws out her ultimate. Apollo dunks down. Here comes the Zhonghui ultimate activation. Excavate goes through the wall. Lots of burst damage. They're just going to leash it. Smart play by COG. They're going to go for the kills. Isis and Athena dead. Berserker Barrage comes out there. Zindern is in the dirt already. Thor's going to go up to the air. They're not done just yet. Ra going to come down here. He's going to blink away. Is it going to be enough? It looks like he may have enough distance. There's the blink from the Thor. Tectonic Rift. Mjolnir's a 2-minute burst damage from Kronos. 4 kills total. The right side Phoenix has respawned. They don't even care about fires at this point. They're just going to go for the Minotaur. The right side Phoenix is being pressured and will fall in favor of COG. This looks like it might be the game. There's nothing really that Epsilon can do unless Hero Apollo makes the greatest play known to man. Tectonic Rift. They're going to go for the Minotaur. Minotaur's going to fall. That's going to be game. Cognitive Gaming takes a 2-0 victory against Epsilon Esports in a very, very short series. The first game, Epsilon completely surrendered it. The second game, they came out, they put up a fight, but what can you do against the monster that is Cognitive EU?
I mean, that was just rough. The whole game was just decided over and over by Schultz, who is getting the steals and the Gold Fury, but at the same time wound up 1-9. Not enough damage coming out from the character. Same thing for Zindern. The poor little boy Nasha trying to throw the Universe Rings out and do his ultimates, but almost every time had to do those things defensively. 1-8 again. Where you look over on the COG team and we see 9-1-11 Sprayarn, 17,000 damage, almost invincible, and then Risterion 5-1-15, 30,000 damage. I'm sorry, almost 31,000 damage, along with almost 18,000 healing. I mean, what do you do against Zhang Kui?
It just worked out so well. I mean, 17,000 healing, like you mentioned, as well as 30,000 damage. It's almost what you'd expect to see from someone like a Chang'e, but at the same time has more versatility and less support. More damage output possibilities. 5-1-15. They're a big part of the victory they had. Cubo Fred, a very accomplished Thor player. We've seen him play Thor, for the last 8 months or so very effectively. And here today, you see 7-1-16, as well as, dropping 13,000 player damage. But it was more about the initiations and control. He had some beautiful tectonic rifts this game, to the point where a lot of characters like Athena, Ra, Isis, who didn't really have any, in fact, no one could jump over the walls that Thor was throwing out. Thor was a great pickup here, and surprisingly enough, a last pick for this match here. So you see Naja, and you hit it right on the head there. Naja forced to ultimate away defensively almost every single time, and even then missing a few ultimates overall. So Zindern not performing to the level we expect him to. Apollo dropping out 20,000 player damage himself. We see 7,500 healing from the Ra getting picked off in a lot of situations where it was not advisable to be pushing forward, and of course COG punishing that. Again, I have to remind you, we do have a string pull error here on the scoreboard. This was not Epsilon versus Epsilon. This was Epsilon up against COG EU. Epsilon is the blue side, the left side of the screen, and the right side was COG. So COG will win this whole series 2-0, but of course this match in a very spectacular fashion We can look at the itemization a little bit here. We're going to see first item Polynomicon for Chronos. Sparan seems to like this item a lot, especially on Chronos there. Went directly into Demonic Grip, and then finishing off the Rod. The burst damage is way too much to deal with. And of course with the Rewind, you get yourself out of some bad situations. We see the Box King very stand-up pickup there. We see Hercules going for more of a brawler type build, which you'd expect for a Hercules in the side lane especially. Thor going for a very standard build there. Zhang Kuei actually went for penetration with the Focus Void Stone and the Shoes of the Magi, and then directly into Ethereal Staff, so a lot of HP potential for him. I'm just a little surprised to see Purification Beads and Meditation on someone like Zhang Kuei.
Well, going forward here, I mean, Kagyu looking fabulous throughout this tournament. They beat Imaginary Team, who kind of like stormed through SK, and then a pretty fair 2-0 here over Epsilon, third place at Gamescom. I mean, they did a pretty amazing job throughout the day, but COG remains dominant in their region, and after the Dig loss yesterday, I mean, it's hard to say who would be on top right now. I mean, COG, it was pretty brilliant.
It was great play by
Yeah.
both teams. I mean, the first match, it really exemplified how powerful COG is right now. The fact that game ended in 22 minutes or so, it's a very short game played by Epsilon, and just it seemed like COG had everything going for them. COG really didn't change any of their strategies going into the next match. Epsilon adjusted things a bit. You saw them go for the Naja this time around. The ISIS seemed to be working, so they kept that around. But overall, I mean, the laning phase, what you want to focus on, it's something that we're really noticing with most of these matches, especially the closer we get to the end. It's just the team that has more of a focus on individual fundamentals, the basics of the game, and be able to lane effectively, rotate effectively. I mean, fast rotations is the name of the game nowadays, especially with the jungler, with the teleport available, with the fact that Combat Blink is here. The faster your team rotates, the faster your team groups up, and the faster your team reacts, the easier it is for you to win the game. And a lot of times that's what spells out the success for that team, is if they can implement that strategy effectively, which we saw Epsilon rotating a little bit slower than you'd expect, and some of the abilities not landing properly.
So that's pretty much it for us today. That's going to be EU Conquest Weekly number 20. Over the past few weeks, including Gamescom, we've seen COG being very, very dominant, and I'm looking forward to see other teams try to step up and challenge this dominance, because as of right now, I mean, I don't think there's another team in EU with their current statuses. I mean, the way that they've been playing has any chance of beating this character, so this team, without more practice and more theory crafting, because right now it really feels like COG is just ahead of the pack.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they're very, very powerful. And of course, we're still waiting for the next opportunity for EU and NA to face off on equal ground, to just really test who's the best. But you touched on it there. New teams coming out. We saw Wellox come out today. Very, very inspiring performance. I was really impressed with how well they worked together, how well their Fist of the God rotations were, their timing, their team play, their understanding of the game mechanics, and I was really inspired to watch them. So big shout out to Wellox coming out today and competing, and to a level that we really wouldn't have expected from a newer team coming out in this EU Tournament Conquest number 20. I mean, we've seen COG compete for so long, and we had an SK dynasty in the very early stages of this tournament, and then as we went into the teens overall, it was just pretty much denial at EU, which is now, of course, the COG EU that you're watching today. So a very big history of strong performing teams. I mean, these are the teams that have been playing for over a year since the closed beta of Smite, so it's really hard to challenge them, but we have proven today that it's not impossible to take them down, and we've seen especially in the semifinal round that we watched between Epsilon from Cognitive and Imaginary, that COG won the early game, Imaginary came back and dominated the mid game, but then COG came back and won the late game. So it's definitely not impossible, and it's something that there are a lot of weak points, but I think it just comes down to the basics of the game. I think people are getting a little bit too creative and trying to create new things or be really weird or unique or different, when really these games come down to basics and fundamentals of laning, understanding the transitions, and rotating properly, and getting those team fights and objectives, and then it just comes down to simple things that win the match.
And as a final note, I want to point out that in the last two sets, especially by the victors, we've seen many less Combat Blinks compared to Hand of the Gods. And while Combat Blink I think is very strong, you guys at home need to consider it's not going to be the best idea in every single option. It lets you chase and it lets you escape, but only against certain situations. And you can see reflected in the items built over the past couple games that while Combat Blink is very strong, it's taken a backseat to things like beads. I mean, even meditation we've seen picked up a few times. So make sure when you're trying to build your builds and theorycraft that you're not revolving around one specific strategy and you're trying dozens and dozens of new things, because I mean that's how you wind up at four Hand of the Gods in one team.
Yeah, and it seemed to work quite well in that push strategy, especially with the new adjustments to Hand of the Gods. And definitely stay peeled to the Smite Game channel, the channel you're watching right now. It is a 24/7 channel, but especially in the evenings or afternoons and evenings Eastern time, you'll see a lot of reveals coming out from Hi-Rez Bart, our esports manager for Hi-Rez Studios, to in the coming week. Just because we have a lot coming out. Thanatos is on board. We have a lot of changes coming out, some skins, packs, all that kind of stuff. Erez has alluded to some of that in chat, so definitely stay glued to this channel. And as things change and the patch notes come out for this week, I'm curious to see how the gods are going to be changed and balanced and swapped around. And there's a lot of new information coming, and definitely be ready for that. Of course, next weekend you will have the NA Tournament Conquest on Saturday. That's going to start at 12 p.m. Eastern, and then again, then we have this tournament at the same time next Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern is going to be the start time for that. So definitely stick around. We have lots of tournaments going on. Besides that, we have the Code Green tournament for Tier Monster. Next Saturday will be the EU version. We also have the 3v3 tournaments and the 2v2 tournament, and of course the Denial casual tournament that's going on all the time. There's a lot of stuff to get involved with Smite. There's also changes coming this week with the new Mastery ranked and all that. So a lot of stuff coming. So stay glued to this channel. We should have a streamer coming up pretty soon here. Actually, might not be that soon. We ended it pretty early today.
We did, but Smitten usually shows up around somewhere between 2 and 4. I'm not sure what her exact schedule is, but if you guys are checking out some Smite today, make sure to check out Smitten. Otherwise, Cookie Clicker.
Yeah, cookies.
Cookies.
Thanks for tuning in today, guys. I will be seeing me tonight at 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. my time. So you'll see me on this channel tonight to kick off the Mondays. DM Brandon will probably be streaming on his channel at some point. He loves to just do everything all at once. But of course, if you want to check out my co-caster today, DM Brandon, you can shoot him a tweet at JuiceDM. Posted up in chat there. Of course, my name is Driver.
Don't shoot things at me. That's dangerous.
Shoot him a tweet. Shoot him a tweet.
Don't.
And talk about how much you love Cookie Clicker and how much more cookies per second you have than him, because he really is not proud of his Cookie Clicker CPS.
Wait, that can't be right. Oh, I have a frenzy cookie. I was gonna say I have 23 billion a second.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Hey, shout out to 3 Bill.
I'm at 2.5 bill, dude. I'm nicking your tail. I'm tail whipping your.
Don't touch my tail.
Tail whipping you across the sky, and it's so beautiful to see you